So Tuesday on Kay Adams' podcast, free agent safety Justin Simmons was asked what is attractive to him. And he said, really, the only thing that is attractive to me is playing on a contender. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but essentially, Simmons was saying that he has never been to the playoffs before in his 9-year career. 8 years with Denver, nothing. And that was after their Super Bowl victory back in 2015. Then Simmons gets drafted in the third round out of Boston College. They go on that 8-year playoff drought. And then he goes to Atlanta this past year, and they just missed out on the playoffs there. So basically, Justin Simmons was saying, I just want to play for a contender who is going to make the playoffs and then have a great chance of winning the Super Bowl. And the first team that he listed was the Buffalo Bills. He also mentioned the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cincinnati Bengals. But I thought it was pretty interesting that Simmons listed the Bills when a lot of us have been thinking about the draft. And now it's time to pivot back to free agency just for a little bit here and think about, is it realistic for the Bills to sign Justin Simmons? So one of the main questions that we have to ask ourselves is how much money do the Bills have left? And according to SpotTrack, Buffalo has just over $6 million in cap space. Meanwhile, Over the Cap has them at $5.3 million. So either way, it's not much, especially when considering that they have to save space for the incoming draft class. But it is still enough to maneuver around these third and fourth waves of free agency because let's not forget, Brandon Beane is very good at signing free agents, whether it's before or after the draft or into the summer. How many times have we seen Beane sign players in May, June, even July going into training camp? So again, the Bills really don't have a lot of money left, but they can make it work. Now, there are still some transactions that the Bills can make to open up additional cap space. So if they were to restructure Deion Dawkins' contract, that would save almost $10 million in cap space, 9.8 to be exact. If they were to extend Connor McGovern, who took over for Mitch Morse as a team starting center and played very well this past season, that would save an additional $4.2 million. And then they could restructure Curtis Samuel's contract, saving $3.9 million. So Brandon Beane can have some flexibility here. I was kind of surprised that he didn't do one of those contracts yet because I was thinking that if you want to sign a cornerback like Asante Samuel Jr., then if you were to restructure Dawkins' contract, there you go. There's that $10 million. Now, it did come out over the last couple of days that teams are being very cautious due to his shoulder and neck injuries. So I don't think that that's in the cards right now, but I think Justin Simmons is very feasible. That being said, let's talk about Justin Simmons, the player. So Simmons signed a 1-year contract with Atlanta, and it's worth noting, speaking of the salary cap here, so the Falcons signed him for 1 year, $7.5 million. Right now, he has a market value of $5.8 million. So I think that range is probably somewhere between $5 and $7 million. But if the Bills could get him for under 5, I would be thrilled. So in terms of what Simmons can offer, he is mainly a free safety. And if you look at his advanced stats here, I mean, he's played all over the place. So this past season with Atlanta, he played 689 snaps as a free safety, 227 in the box, and then 88 in the slot. So for his career, he has 4,500 snaps from the free safety position, almost 2,300 from the box, and then almost 1,200 from the slot, and then 103 as an outside corner. So I mean, this is a player who does have that flexibility, but I think he primarily is at free safety. And I think that's what the Bills could use right now. Now, this is the main question. Do you really need Justin Simmons when you have Cole Bishop? And I think we all want to see Cole Bishop take that leap in year number 2. But I'm on the side of Bishop can still grow, but Simmons is there in case you need him. Because right now, I am not too pleased with the Bills secondary. So I'm under the impression that they need all the help that they can get. And I don't know if this would necessarily block Cole Bishop because let's not forget Taylor Rapp often sustains a lot of injuries. So you could be looking at a situation where Cole Bishop is a strong safety and Justin Simmons is your free safety. But I just think that there is room for a free agent safety here, specifically Simmons, because if they were to sign him, then they can focus on building that defensive line and the cornerback room in the draft. Because I'm not going to say that it would be a wasted pick, but I don't want to see the Bills draft a safety in round 1. I know a lot of people are high on Nick Ebenwari, but they just spent a lot of capital on Cole Bishop last year. So that's why I'm thinking, sure, if they want to draft one on Friday or Saturday, okay. But to me, it almost makes more sense that if there's a fit there with Justin Simmons, then go make it work. because again, I think there could be a lot of platoons where it's not just a Poyer and Hyde situation. I think it could be more of a rotation, especially when you look at the injuries with Rapp, and then we don't know if Bishop is going to take that step yet or not. So that's why I just think it's good to give yourself as many pieces as possible. Now, just to round this out here, I'll go over his box score stats. So Simmons still had a productive campaign over the 2024 season. He finished with 65 tackles and 2 interceptions while starting all 16 games that he played in for the Falcons. And then if you go into the advanced numbers a little bit more here, so he had a completion percentage allowed of 64.7, but then his passer rating against was 105.1. And that isn't necessarily the best, but when you look at 2022, the year in which he was a second team All-Pro, led the league with 6 interceptions, his passer rating allowed was 101.9. So I think we have to take that with a grain of salt, yet consider the team that he was playing on, Atlanta, they were up and down the whole season. So all that to say, I think he can still be very productive given the right system. And again, I'm not sure if the Bills would be asking him to play massive snaps. I think it would just be plug and play. You play these snaps, Rapp can play here. Bishop, again, you don't have that necessarily all-pro starter anymore because let's face it, Justin Simmons is on the back end of his career, but I think he still can have some productive seasons. And one final interesting nugget to close us out here. Justin Simmons was teammates with Matt Milano in college when the two both played for Boston College. So Simmons played from 2012 to 2015. And again, he was drafted in the 3rd round of the 2016 draft by the Broncos. So Milano is 1 year younger, and Milano played there from 2013 to 2016. Now, the interesting part about this is Milano was a safety. So they shared the safety room in 2013 together, and then Boston College converted Milano to the linebacker position in 2014. So they shared the same defense for 3 years, but they were in the same defensive room, the safety room, for 1 season together. So I'm wondering if there's a connection there where maybe Matt Milano is talking to Justin Simmons saying, hey, what do you think? Come play for Contender. We love it here in Buffalo, and we think you will too. So that being said, let me know what you think. Do you want to see the Bills sign Justin Simmons, a 31-year-old safety who's going to be 32 in November, but he's always had a knack for the football, and he's always been that ball hawk, one of the best safeties over the last few years. And actually, he leads the NFL in interceptions since 2020 with 21 picks. So would you want to see them go that route, or would you rather see them address this position in the draft? Is there someone that you like, whether it's a Thursday prospect, Friday prospect, or Saturday prospect? Or maybe you want the Bills to just do nothing and say, let's not sleep on Derek Forrest, because I didn't even mention the depth at safety. I just talked about the starters between Rapp and Bishop. But Derek Forrest was a very good pickup about a month ago, coming over from Washington, and he's had an up and down career, but he really excelled in the Commanders' defense in 2022. And actually, his RAS score coming out of college, so that's the relative athletic score, he scored a 9.69 on that chart, and that ranked 25th out of 772 safeties ranked from 1987 to 2021. So as you can tell, he is very athletic, and he has that position flexibility as well. And let's not forget that the Bills re-signed Damar Hamlin to that cheap 1-year contract, and he has that flexibility as he can play in the box or deep as a free safety, because we know how the Bills like to play that 2-high cover shell. And let's not forget there's Cam Lewis as well. So a lot of options here for the Bills, but I want to hear from you. So let me know, comment below, and go Bills.